Okay, so this is your feedback for evaluation question 3. Okay, good. This is nice. So we've got an introduction here. Yeah, good. So with this part here, with our demographic, what was the typical conventions, what I'd expect to see here is the evidence of that. So you'd be going back to your very beginnings, where on your where on your blog you did this section here under pre-production and you had audience research. So what I should be seeing here is a presentation of your stuff here and what you learnt from that. So you've already got some of this section written because you did it quite carefully in your first part. So I need to see that presented here. How did that then affect your decision making when you came to the production stage? So this section here needs more work. It's unfinished. You know, we need to actual evidence, point evidence analysis. At the minute we're just making a point, we don't have the evidence or the analysis. Okay, so yep. So again, what you might want to think about here is that, you know, 6 people responded. You know, how wide is that and how representative? So what have you learnt from your audience feedback? You know, how detailed is what you've learnt going to be towards it? So that's a point that needs to be addressed here. Okay, this is good. So you've done some analysis on what these all say. Yeah, good. This is all fine. Okay, so we kind of need like a mini conclusion about, so how successful therefore is it? What changes did you make to the work based upon this audience feedback? Because obviously it's about what you've learned from it. In the same way that this section here needs to discuss what you've learned from this bit, this section, and you know, from the preliminary research that you did, you know, how has that affected your storyline, your characters, where you're filming it, your colour scheme, all that stuff. This section now needs to talk about what you've done to address this feedback. Okay, so at the moment, just looking at it, it's very picture and text based, which is going to cost you marks, because obviously if we look at it now, you know, we've got in these other ones, we've got screen grabs from their WhatsApp pages. If we keep coming down, we've got fan reaction videos, so there's video into this now. Additionally, there's more sounds, there's more what do you call it, detail in the analysis here too, but also we've got some video being used to break the whole thing up. On here we've got more of the videos of YouTube responses of YouTubers that they've contacted, more reaction videos to the magazine as well as the poster. So it's not just pictures, but there are a lot of pictures here. So this is kind of the section you've been doing, is all this stuff. But even here there's more on theirs than there is on yours. So again, everyone in the team has done videos on feedback on the section they're responsible for. Like here they've even done like a screen within screen thing of them watching the video while they're watching it. So that shows the A grade. If we come to this, again, a lot of it, whilst you've done the commentary on the questions, and you've got some WhatsApp in there, so that's good, and there's a presentation screen there, that's good. Let's have a look.
It was really easy.
Okay, so that's good. So we've got like a video feedback here. So what you might want to do in this bit is kind of just reflect upon what some of the significant things are that you've learnt. So, you know, what does it say about the success? And then obviously here we need the evidence from these sections. Okay, so again, we're not really starting off with an introduction to this section, we're just going straight in. We're not really saying anything about what we learned from these questions or why we asked them or what it says, so it's just, you know, there's no point to this, it's just a list of questions. We're not responding to our answers, so we're not actually commenting in this section. What we're doing is just putting pictures up. This one here has comments on what we've learned from each response. This section here doesn't, so as you can see, this section would get less marks. So this isn't really a conclusion. This is the section I'm talking about, is your response to this. You've put it there, that's fine, but this isn't a conclusion, this is a commentary on it. The conclusion would be, so how successful was the whole thing? So overall, I think there's a substantial amount left to do in terms of, we've relied almost entirely exclusively on SurveyMonkey with a few WhatsApp points. There's no videos in here of actually us finding this stuff out, and there's no conclusion of how successful the whole thing is, you know, what changes you've made off the back of this stuff. I think currently at the moment this section is quite detailed. Again, we could probably look at giving you the sort of higher basic. We're looking at a D plus because there's no video. This section has got some additional stuff in it, and there's a video in there. Analysis needs substantially more in it though to address each part of the question. So where we've got trailer feedback, we should have a response to each of it. So again, this is probably in the same category, although there is more in it. This section is very, very brief. Again, same thing before, we need a mini conclusion, probably about the same as Dion's grade here. Neneh, I'd say at the moment we don't really have anything here from you about what you've learnt from it. So I'd be, we'd be looking really at a level 1 probably entry here, because there's nothing here that shows that you've understood the audience feedback, so it would be a U grade currently for that section. So I think you'd have to take responsibility for maybe making these videos and having a far more detailed conclusion. Either that, or you'd need to now take responsibility for a whole section and balance that out. I think in the short term your job is probably to make these videos now for the trailer and the poster and the magazine, so your contribution is kind of noted and demonstrated.